Welcome to Fort Bend ISD. Thank you for accepting your position as a substitute. As a substitute for Fort Bend ISD, you join a team of dedicated educational professionals committed to strengthening our society by preparing students for responsible citizenship. Substitutes play a vital role in supporting student success by carrying out the instructional activities and plans provided by the classroom teachers in their absence. Your contributions help ensure continuity of learning and a stable classroom environment. Fort Bend ISD greatly values and appreciates effective substitutes and recognizes the important role you play in maintaining high-quality instruction for all students. We trust that your substitute experience will be both professionally fulfilling for you and educationally impactful for our students. Thank you for bringing the time, creativity, and enthusiasm needed to thrive in a stimulating environment where excellence is the expectation. Fort Bend ISD is a large and diverse district encompassing over 170 square miles. It is the sixth largest school district in Texas among more than 1,000 districts. The district includes 12 high schools, 15 middle schools, 45 elementary schools, and 5 specialized campuses. With so many campuses and opportunities available, you will have ample opportunity to serve and make a difference as a substitute. The following information provided is a short orientation of basic information. You are required to read the Substitute Handbook for further information. Before we begin, let's take a look at the topics that will be covered during new substitute orientation. The purpose of this orientation is to provide you with some of the information, resources, and expectations you need to be successful as a Fort Bend ISD substitute. By the end of this orientation, you will have a better understanding of your role, district expectations, compensation, technology resources, classroom management strategies, and important procedures that will help you support our students and staff effectively. The objectives you see listed here will guide us through orientation and serve as the foundation for your success as a substitute in Fort Bend ISD. Meet your substitute team. We are small but mighty. Patricia Lutz is the contact for substitutes whose last name begins with the letters A through L. Bridgette Miller is the contact for substitutes whose last name begins with the letters M through Z. And Jalissa Harwell is the contact for substitute pay questions and concerns. Email is the best form of communication for the substitute team. Should you need to make an appointment or drop something by the building, please email us so we can schedule a time to meet with you. We look forward to working with you. As a substitute, you play an important role in carrying out the district's mission and vision each day. Fort Bend ISD's mission exists to inspire and equip all students to pursue futures beyond what they can imagine. The vision is that Fort Bend ISD will graduate students who exhibit the attributes of the district's profile of a graduate. Through your interactions, instruction, and support, you will bring this mission and vision to life, ensuring that every student has the opportunity to succeed and reach their full potential. Employees of Fort Bend ISD are expected to provide exceptional service to all customers. As a substitute, your customers include students, parents, staff, and the community. We treat every customer as a VIP by creating an inviting and welcoming experience, greeting everyone with a warm welcome, taking time to understand and anticipate needs. We strive to exceed expectations by going the extra mile and demonstrating courtesy, respect, dignity, and positivity. We remain responsive by taking the time to listen and respond and providing updates and follow-up when needed. Your commitment to these principles helps ensure a positive and supportive environment for everyone you serve. All substitutes are required to complete annual staff training. As a newly hired employee, you will have 45 days from your hire date to complete this requirement. After attending onboarding, the substitute team will automatically enroll you in the course. Once enrolled, it is your responsibility to complete all required training before the district's specified deadline each year. Guidelines for reporting to campus. When reporting to a campus, it is important to arrive on time and be fully prepared for your assignment. The times listed in your ReadySub account reflect the official start and end times for staff members. Substitutes are expected to remain on campus for the entire duration of the job. If you are substituting for a teacher whose conference period is at the end of the day, you are not permitted to leave early. Please check with the front office to see if you are needed to cover another class. If you arrive late or leave early, the campus will adjust your time and you will not be paid for the full 7.5-hour day. If you are running late, contact the campus directly to inform them you are on your way. Provide an estimated arrival time so they can make temporary arrangements. There is no need to contact the substitute team. For long-term assignments, if you are asked to stay beyond the normal workday for faculty meetings, trainings, or events, you will be compensated by the campus for the additional time worked. If you have questions about a specific job before accepting it, contact the campus directly, as each campus and assignment may have different expectations. Some positions may require earlier start times. If you are asked to arrive early, your departure time should also be adjusted accordingly. An example of this would be a special education assignment that may require you to arrive at 7:30, in which case you should be allowed to leave at 3:30. Always review the Notes tab in ReadySub for important job details. Specialized schools have different start and end times, so be sure to check your ReadySub account to verify your assigned work hours. As a substitute, it is your responsibility to review the Substitute Handbook, which is available on the district website, which is listed here. Each year, you will be required to complete and sign an electronic acknowledgement form confirming that you have read the handbook. The Substitute Handbook is a valuable resource that contains important policies, procedures, and expectations. Most questions you have can be answered within the handbook, so it is important to refer to it regularly. During onboarding, you signed a copy of the substitute job responsibilities. It is your responsibility to be familiar with and understand your role as a substitute for Fort Bend ISD. As a substitute, you are expected to uphold all district expectations and carry out your duties with professionalism and accountability. Each school year, substitute job responsibilities are reviewed, updated, and included in the current Substitute Handbook. It is your responsibility to review these job responsibilities annually to remain informed of any updates, changes, or expectations outlined by the district. Staying familiar with the most current information ensures that you are prepared to successfully fulfill your role as a substitute for Fort Bend ISD. The job responsibilities include, but are not limited to: I understand that corporal punishment is prohibited and that all interactions with students must remain professional and appropriate, with no inappropriate physical contact at any time. I understand that I must comply with all Fort Bend ISD policies and procedures. It is my responsibility to familiarize myself with the Substitute Handbook, Employee Handbook, and all applicable district policies and procedures. These resources are available on the Fort Bend ISD website and the Substitute website. I understand that I must work a minimum of 2 assignments per month or 10 assignments per semester to remain an active substitute for Fort Bend ISD. This does include working half-day assignments. I understand that if working as an extended learning site coordinator, assistant site coordinator, intervention specialist, AP proctor, or instructional or avid tutor prevents me from meeting the substitute minimum work requirement, I am responsible for notifying my substitute team advisor via email to avoid removal from the substitute roster due to inactivity. I agree to abide by the terms and conditions of the Substitute Use of Internet and Computer Systems Acceptable Use Agreement. I understand it is my responsibility to complete annual staff training. As a new substitute, I will have 45 days from the date of hire to complete the required training. Thereafter, I will complete annual staff training each year by the deadline date established by the district. I understand I am expected to be punctual and always follow the assigned classroom schedule. I understand I am responsible for maintaining order in the classroom and always ensuring appropriate student behavior. I will follow the teacher's lesson plans in the order provided and fulfill all assigned responsibilities of the teacher, including any extra duty assignments. I understand I am responsible for supervising students assigned to the regular classroom teacher at all times, including homeroom, hallway transitions, dismissal, cafeteria duty, and any other assigned areas. I understand I am required to remain on campus for the duration of my assigned work hours and may not leave the campus during that time. I understand I am not entitled to the teacher's conference or planning period and that I may be reassigned by the principal to provide coverage for another class during that time. I understand that my assignment may be changed upon arrival at the campus, and that if I choose not to accept the reassigned duty and leave the campus, I will not be compensated for the day. I understand if I arrive at a campus and am not needed, it is my responsibility to secure another assignment. I understand further that if I do not work an assignment, I will not be compensated for the day. I understand that substitute employment is part-time and that work hours are not guaranteed, as assignments are made on an as-needed basis. I further understand that I am not eligible for unemployment compensation during scheduled school or student breaks, including but not limited to the dates that you see listed here. I understand I will not receive compensation for school closures due to inclement weather, natural disasters, or other emergency situations. I further understand that in the event of an extended district closure, I am responsible for frequently monitoring my Fort Bend ISD email for updates and additional information. I understand my employment with Fort Bend ISD is at will and that I have no employment contract. I understand that I may be dismissed at any time, with or without cause, for any reason not prohibited by law, as determined by the needs of the district. I further understand that if dismissed, I will be compensated through the end of my last day worked, and that I may resign at any time. I understand that when working a long-term assignment, I do not qualify for hard-to-fill incentive pay. This includes the first 10 days of the assignment. I understand that I am responsible for frequently checking my Fort Bend ISD email account for updates and information provided by the substitute office and/or other district personnel. I understand it is my responsibility to regularly review my absence and substitute management system, known as ReadySub, to confirm that I am assigned to the dates I worked. If any discrepancies are found, I will promptly contact the campus where I worked to ensure my compensation is correct for the applicable pay period. I understand that it is my responsibility to review and remain familiar with the current instructional calendar to ensure awareness of all student holidays. I further understand that I am not required to work on student holidays unless assigned to a long-term position and specifically requested to work by the campus administrator. I understand that it is my responsibility to sign the letter of assurance indicating my intent to return as a substitute for Fort Bend ISD the following school year. I understand that if I choose not to return, I am responsible for submitting an exit. I understand that I am expected to always maintain professional and appropriate language and must not use profanity or make inappropriate comments in the presence of students. I understand I must never sexually harass a student or employee, whether verbally, physically, or through any other inappropriate conduct. One of the most common reasons substitutes contact the substitute office is with questions regarding their compensation. In the following slides, we will review daily pay rates for the different substitute categories, compensation for long-term assignments, the definition of a long-term assignment, and district expectations for substitutes serving in long-term assignments. Understanding how compensation works will help you better plan and manage your assignments while ensuring clarity about expectations and pay. Participation in direct deposit is mandatory for all employees. To complete the employment process, employees must set up direct deposit through their MySelf-Serve account within 5 business days of their effective hire date. The district provides automatic payroll deposits, allowing employees' paychecks to be electronically deposited into an account at any financial institution that accepts electronic fund transfers. With direct deposit, funds are available on the scheduled pay date. An authorization for direct deposit must be completed and submitted through MySelf-Serve and will be maintained by the payroll department. When setting up or making changes to direct deposit, a pre-notification period is required to ensure that all banking information is processed correctly. Therefore, it can take up to 2 pay cycles for direct deposit to become active. Your first and possibly your second check may be mailed to your address on record. Should you prefer to pick up your initial check or checks, please email payroll@fortbendisd.gov to request your checks to be held in the payroll department for pickup. The district cannot control the exact time a bank posts deposits. Employees are advised not to schedule automatic withdrawals on the same day as a payday. Substitutes who work daily assignments are paid based on their qualification category. You will receive the same daily rate regardless of whether you are working in a teaching or in an aide paraprofessional position. Non-degreed substitutes earn $85 for working full-day assignments and $42.50 for working half-day assignments. Degreed substitutes who hold a bachelor's degree or higher earn $100 for working full-day assignments and $50 for working half-day assignments. Texas certified substitutes earn $105 for working full-day assignments and $52.50 for working half-day assignments. Registered nurse substitutes earn $125 for working a full day in a nurse position and $62.50 for working half-day assignments. If working in a teacher or para position, RN substitutes will be paid the Texas certified rate, not the RN rate. Certified counselor substitutes earn $230 for working a full day in a counselor position and $115 for working a half-day assignment. If working in a teacher or para position, certified counselors will be paid the Texas teacher certified rate, not the counselor rate. Certified principals subbing in an assistant or associate principal position will earn $370 for working a full day and $185 for working a half-day assignment. If working in a teacher or para position, certified principals will be paid the Texas teacher certified rate, not the assistant associate rate. Certified principals subbing in a principal position at the elementary or middle school level will earn $410 for working full-day assignments and $205 for working half-day assignments. If working a teacher or para position, certified principals will be paid the Texas teacher certified rate, not the principal rate. Certified principals subbing in a principal position at the high school level will earn $500 for working full-day assignments and $250 for working a half-day assignment. If working as a teacher or paraprofessional, certified principals will be paid the Texas teacher certified rate, not the principal rate. Now that you know what the daily rate of pay is for your category, we will discuss long-term assignments. What is a long-term assignment? how substitutes are paid when working a long-term assignment, important things you need to know to ensure correct pay, and long-term pay rates. For an assignment to be considered long-term, you must work 10 full consecutive days in the same position. All dates worked in the same position must be entered in the absence and management system known as ReadySub under one job number. If you miss a day during the first 10 days, the count will reset and you must begin again when you return. The long-term rate will apply on the 11th consecutive day worked. If a day you worked during the first 10 days is not included or happens to be split from the original job number, your count resets, which means the consecutively worked days are incorrect and you will not be paid correctly. Every position in the district is assigned a unique position number, including long-term assignments. When you complete a long-term assignment or transfer to a different long-term assignment with a different position and job number, your long-term status and pay eligibility resets. You must again work 10 full consecutive days in the new assignment to qualify for the long-term rate, which will begin on the 11th day worked. In other words, once you meet long-term status and the long-term job ends, so does your long-term status, which means your pay will return to the base rate of pay for your category. Some best practices to remember when working a long-term assignment to ensure you are set up in the system correctly so that you will be paid the correct long-term rate of pay is to communicate frequently with the campus substitute contact. We refer to them as verifiers. You will meet them when you arrive on campus. Frequently check your ReadySub account to make sure all dates worked are listed under the same job number. Familiarize yourself with the Substitute Handbook, where you will find a job aid for accessing and working with your ReadySub account. Okay, so we have discussed what a long-term assignment is, a little about how long-term subs are paid, some important things you need to know to ensure correct pay. Now we're going to dive into long-term pay rates. Once you have worked 10 full consecutive days in the same assignment, your rate will increase to the over 10-day rate of pay for your category. The rate increases on the 11th day worked. For non-degreed substitutes, the over 10-day long-term rate increases to $120 per day. If you work a half-day long-term assignment, you must work 20 half-days for the rate to increase to $60 per half-day. For degreed substitutes, the over 10-day long-term rate increases to $130 per day. If you work a half-day long-term assignment, you must work 20 half-days for the rate to increase to $65 per half-day. For Texas certified substitutes, the over 10-day long-term rate increases to $160 per day. If you work a half-day long-term assignment, you must work 20 half-days for the rate to increase to $80 per half-day. Registered nurses, the over 10-day long-term rate increases to $150 per day. If you work a half-day long-term assignment, you must work 20 half-days for the rate to increase to $70 per half-day. Counselor certified subs and principal certified substitutes, your rate does not increase while working a long-term assignment, unless you are working in a long-term teaching or para position. If this is the case, you will fall under the Texas certified rates. After 30 full consecutive days in the same assignment, your pay increases to the 30+ day rate. This increase begins on day 30. However, long-term paraprofessional and aide positions do not qualify for the 30-day pay increase. Non-degreed substitutes do not qualify for the 30+ rate of pay. Your pay remains at the 10+ rate of pay. For degreed substitutes, the over 30-day long-term rate increases to $160 per day. Texas certified substitutes only qualify for the 30+ rate of pay when they are certified in the same content area as the assignment. If eligible, pay increases beginning on day 30. Eligible certified substitutes will receive retroactive pay back to day 1. There is an exception for the certified substitutes. If you are subbing in a special education teaching assignment, You will receive the 30+ rate and retro amount no matter what content area you are certified in. Registered nurses, the over 30-day long-term rate increases to $175 per day. If you are subbing in a teaching assignment, you will not receive the 30-day rate of pay unless you are also certified in the content area of the position. Counselor certified substitutes and principal certified substitutes, your rate does not increase while working a long-term assignment unless you are working in a long-term teaching position. If this is the case, you will fall under the Texas certified rates. When working half-day assignments, you will be paid 50% of the full-day rate. This policy applies to both day-to-day assignments and long-term assignments. When working long-term 30+ assignments, you must work 60 half-days to qualify for the 30+ rate of half-day pay. Long-term substitutes play a vital role in maintaining the continuity of instruction, supporting student learning, and providing stability within the classroom environment. As a long-term substitute, you are expected to uphold the following professional responsibilities, including but not limited to: continuity of instruction. You are expected to provide consistent and effective instruction by following the established curriculum, lesson plans, and learning objectives. This includes maintaining the structure and routines set by the regular classroom teacher, or in the case of a vacant position, which means there's no teacher of record, those established by campus administration. Curriculum knowledge and preparation. Long-term substitutes are expected to familiarize themselves with the assigned curriculum, educational standards, and student learning goals. This may include reviewing textbooks, digital platforms, lesson plans, and any other provided instructional materials. Adaptability and flexibility. You should be prepared to handle changes in classroom plans, schedules, or classroom dynamics. Demonstrating flexibility, resourcefulness, and problem-solving skills will contribute to a successful learning environment for students. Classroom management and professionalism. Long-term substitutes are expected to always maintain a professional demeanor. This includes arriving on time and adhering to the assigned schedule, enforcing school and classroom rules consistently, managing student behavior appropriately, communicating respectfully and positively with students, staff, and administration. And campus-specific expectations. Each campus may have additional expectations for long-term substitutes. Upon accepting a long-term assignment, you are responsible for communicating with campus administration to understand and meet these expectations. Absences which are taken during the first 10 full consecutive days that may be approved for continuation of the long-term count under the following circumstances. Please note that you are not paid for days not worked. These absences would include jury duty. You must provide a copy of the jury duty summons to your substitute advisor, and family or medical emergency. You must provide appropriate medical documentation to your substitute advisor. Absence limits and impact on your long-term status. While working in a long-term assignment, after you have met the 10 full consecutive day rule, you should not have more than 4 full consecutive absences at any point during the assignment. If you exceed 4 full consecutive days absent, your pay will revert to your base rate of pay, your long-term count will reset, and the count will restart on the date you return to the assignment. Reporting extended absences. So if you anticipate or incur more than 4 consecutive absences, you must notify your substitute advisor in the substitute office as soon as possible via email. Your email must include the following information: your full name, your employee ID number, dates of the absences, and the reason for the absences. The substitute advisor will review your situation and determine whether your long-term status may continue based on the nature of the absence. You may be required to provide supporting documentation such as a doctor's note, a jury duty summons, or other relevant documentation. Each situation will be reviewed individually and holistically. If your circumstances do not fall within the examples listed above, you are still required to inform your substitute advisor and provide any relevant details for review. Once you have met your long-term status, if you miss a day or two here and there, it does not start your count over again. It's only if you miss more than 4 consecutive days after that 10-day. Some best practices. Know the type of assignment you are working and know the pay structure. Certified substitutes, know your content area. And familiarize yourself with the Substitute Handbook for further information regarding long-term assignments and substitute pay. Fort Bend ISD offers 2 types of hard-to-fill incentive pay for substitutes who work day-to-day assignments. The first type of incentive pay is for special education severe positions, which are listed here. You can find program descriptions in the Substitute Handbook. When you work one of the special education severe positions that's listed, you will earn an additional $15 for the day. The other type of incentive pay is for Title I and designated hard-to-fill campuses, which are listed here, by campus level, and can also be found in the Substitute Handbook. When you work one of these designated campuses, you will earn an additional $10 for the day. There are some guidelines for the incentive pay. If you work in both an identified special education severe position and at a hard-to-fill designated campus on the same day, you will only receive the greater of the 2 incentives, not both. While working in long-term assignments, you do not qualify for hard-to-fill incentive pay. This includes the first 10 days of the long-term assignment as well. The hard-to-fill incentive pay only applies to full-day assignments, or the 2 half-day assignments at the same campus, which equates to a full day. An exception to this incentive does apply to qualifying half-day assignments on May 26th and May 27th, which are the 2 days at the end of the school year that are half days. Hard-to-fill incentive pay applies to both teaching positions and paraprofessional or aide positions. This is very important to know. Hard-to-fill incentive pay is issued on the final check of the month following the dates worked. So for example, assignments that you work in August will be paid on the September 30th check. Okay, so again, we're going to go over some best practices. Familiarize yourself with the different types of hard-to-fill incentive pay. Know what the special education severe assignments are. Know which campuses are considered hard to fill. Be aware of what check your hard-to-fill incentive is due on. And familiarize yourself with the Substitute Handbook. It is important for you to understand and refer to the substitute pay schedule when you have questions regarding your pay. Substitutes are paid twice a month based on the dates they work. The substitute pay schedule shown here identifies the beginning and end dates for each pay period, as well as the corresponding pay date. Please note that pay dates occur several weeks after the end of the pay period. For example, days worked between August 17th through August 30th are paid on the September 30th paycheck. Similarly, days worked between January 4th through January 17th are paid on the February 12th paycheck. The substitute pay schedule is found in the Substitute Handbook. You are encouraged to locate the information and keep it readily available when reviewing your pay stubs so that you can easily determine which pay period is being reflected on each paycheck. For non-TRS retirees, you signed the 457 FICA Alternative Plan document when you attended onboarding. Fort Bend ISD deducts 7.5% from each paycheck and submits those funds to TCG administrators for deposit into your 457 FICA Alternative Plan account. Participation in the 457 FICA Alternative Plan is mandatory for all substitutes who are not TRS retirees. The 457 FICA Alternative Plan serves as an alternative retirement savings plan in place of Social Security. Because substitutes are not full-time employees, the district does not contribute to the Teacher Retirement System, or TRS, on your behalf. Additionally, as an educational institution, Fort Bend ISD does not participate in Social Security for substitute employees. The funds contributed to your 457 FICA Alternative Plan remain in your account and become available to you under certain qualifying circumstances, including separation from employment with Fort Bend ISD, permanent and total disability, a change in employment status to a position covered by another retirement system, such as becoming a full-time employee with Fort Bend ISD, at which time retirement contributions would be directed to TRS. Your death, in which case your designated beneficiaries would have access to the funds in your TCG account. It is important to keep your beneficiary information current to ensure your account benefits are distributed according to your wishes. Did you know that by the time a student graduates from high school, they will have spent the equivalent of 1 full school year learning from substitute teachers? This statistic highlights the critical role that substitutes play in supporting student success. In Fort Bend ISD, we expect our substitutes to do more than simply supervise students. You are expected to teach, engage, and continue the learning process during the teacher's absence. As a substitute, you should pick up where the classroom teacher left off by implementing lesson plans, maintaining instructional momentum, and creating a positive learning environment for all students. Your work has a direct impact on student achievement and helps ensure that valuable instructional time is not lost. Every day you step into a classroom, you have the opportunity to make a meaningful difference in the lives of students. As a member of the Fort Bend ISD team, you are expected to support our mission by helping to inspire and equip all students to pursue futures beyond what they can imagine. Thank you for the important role that you play in the success of our students. The next portion of the orientation will provide you with some classroom management ideas. It is your responsibility to always remain calm and professional in every classroom setting. As a substitute, you set the tone for the classroom. The way you present yourself and interact with students can have a significant impact on the learning environment during your time on campus. Let's determine which characteristics create a positive environment and which create a negative environment. First, we have friendly. Then we have serious, unorganized, confident, nervous, easy, and strict. As you can see, being friendly, serious, confident, and strict with fairness and consistency establishes respect, builds rapport with students, and creates an atmosphere where learning can take place. When a negative environment is created by being unorganized, nervous, easy, or overly permissive, students perceive uncertainty or a lack of structure. They may be less likely to follow expectations and remain engaged in learning. What does a positive presence look like? A confident substitute stands at the front or center of the classroom, uses open and positive body language, makes eye contact with students, speaks clearly and confidently, smiles and greets students warmly, introduces themselves and establishes expectations, and actively engages with students throughout the day. What does a negative presence look like? An ineffective classroom presence may include remaining seated behind the teacher's desk as students enter, avoiding interaction with students, speaking too softly or hesitantly, displaying nervous or negative body language, using a negative tone of voice, and appearing mean, bored, or unsure of yourself. An example of a positive classroom greeting is, "Good morning, my name is Ms. Smith, and I'll be your substitute for social studies today. I'm excited to be here with you. I can already tell this is an amazing group of students and we're going to have a great day together. Thank you for coming in prepared and ready to learn. We have a lot to accomplish today, so let's get started. Set classroom expectations early. One of the best ways to establish a positive learning environment is to communicate your expectations at the beginning of class. If possible, write your expectations on the board. Review them with students as they enter. Clearly explain classroom procedures and let students know that while you are friendly and approachable, you are also the teacher and responsible for leading the classroom. Remember, be friendly, be confident, be consistent, and be in charge. Students respond best when they know you care about them and have clear expectations for behavior and learning. Having clearly defined and communicated expectations is critical to creating a positive learning environment. When students understand what is expected of them, it becomes much easier to maintain order, minimize disruptions, and maximize learning. One effective way to establish expectations is by following the triple Ds. The first D stands for Determine. Fort Bend ISD utilizes PBIS, which stands for Positive Behavioral Interventions and Supports, as part of its behavior management framework. Through PBIS, each campus establishes clearly defined expectations for student behavior in classrooms, hallways, cafeterias, common areas, and other learning environments. These expectations are often represented by an acronym, slogan, or phrase that helps students remember the behaviors expected of them throughout the school day. As a substitute, it is important to determine what those campus and classroom expectations are and reinforce them during your assignment. Students are already familiar with these expectations, and they should be part of their daily routine. You will often find these expectations posted throughout the campus, displayed in classrooms, included in substitute notes or lesson plans, and referenced by students and staff. Supporting existing expectations helps create consistency for students and promotes a positive learning environment. The second D stands for Decide. Once you understand and established campus and classroom expectations, decide whether there are any additional expectations you need to communicate during your time in the classroom. Examples might include procedures for asking questions, expectations for electronic device use, classroom discussion guidelines, and procedures for seeking assistance. Be thoughtful when establishing additional expectations. Any expectations you add should support, not replace or contradict existing campus and classroom procedures. Remember, more rules do not always lead to better classroom management. Focus on a few clear expectations that align with campus norms and support student success. The third D stands for Delivery. How you deliver expectations is just as important as the expectations themselves. Students are more likely to respond positively when expectations are communicated with confidence, clarity, and consistency. Effective delivery may include standing at the front or center of the classroom, using positive and respectful language, making eye contact with students, speaking clearly and with appropriate volume, using positive body language, smiling and demonstrating enthusiasm, and engaging students in a respectful manner. Your goal is to communicate that you are friendly, confident, and fully prepared to lead the classroom. When expectations are delivered effectively, students are more likely to feel secure, understand their responsibilities, and remain engaged in learning. As a substitute teacher, you are responsible for maintaining a safe, respectful, and productive learning environment for all students. Classroom management and the redirection of student behavior must be accomplished using approved, non-physical strategies that align with Fort Bend ISD policies and the employee handbook and campus procedures for student conduct and supervision. When addressing inappropriate behavior, remain calm, professional, and consistent. Use positive redirection techniques, clear expectations, and respectful communication to guide students back to the desired behavior. Remember, never use physical contact, force, or intimidation to manage student behavior. Follow campus-specific procedures for addressing behavioral concerns. Seek assistance from campus administration as students' behavior becomes disruptive, unsafe, or requires additional support. Exercise sound professional judgment at all times. If you are ever unsure whether a redirection strategy is appropriate, stop and seek guidance from a campus administrator or designated staff member before proceeding. Your goal is to create a positive learning environment where students feel safe, respected, and focused on learning while maintaining professional boundaries and adhering to district expectations. When in doubt, ask for assistance. Campus administration and staff are available to support you in managing student behavior appropriately and effectively. Reinforce expectations through active monitoring. One of the most effective classroom management strategies is active monitoring. Consistent movement around the classroom allows you to reinforce expectations, promote positive student interactions, and maintain awareness of what is happening through the room. If you remain seated at the teacher's desk or stay in one area for an extended period, you may miss opportunities to support students and address concerns before they become disruptions. As you move throughout the classroom, students should feel your positive presence through both your observation and engagement. Active monitoring allows you to ensure expectations are being followed, identify and address potential concerns early, build positive relationships with students, provide support to students who may be struggling with the lesson or assignment, and increase student engagement and accountability. When students know you are actively watching and listening, they are more likely to remain focused on learning and meet behavioral expectations. Areas that are not monitored have a greater likelihood of off-task or inappropriate behavior occurring. Be intentional about your location when standing still, your movement throughout the classroom, making eye contact with students in all areas of the room, and interacting with students throughout the classroom, not just those nearest to you. Position yourself so that all students know that you are aware of what is happening throughout the learning environment. Recognize positive behaviors. Effective classroom management is not just about correcting inappropriate behavior. It is also about recognizing and reinforcing positive behavior. Students are often motivated when they hear positive examples being acknowledged. By intentionally recognizing students who are meeting expectations, you encourage others to do the same. Instead of focusing only on what students are doing wrong, make a deliberate effort to recognize what they are doing right. Some examples of positive recognition are, I see everyone at Table 1 has already started working. Thank you for getting right to work. Table 2 has their materials out and is ready to learn. Good job being prepared. Thank you to the students who are following directions and staying focused. Wonderful, now everyone in the class has started the assignment. Thank you for your effort and cooperation. When positive behaviors are recognized and named, students gain a clear understanding of what meeting expectations looks like in practice. This not only improves behavior, but also helps build positive relationships and a productive classroom environment. Some key takeaways for the classroom management section of the orientation are: use approved non-physical redirection strategies, remain professional and consistent, and seek administrative support whenever needed. Determine the existing expectations, decide if any additional expectations are needed, and deliver those expectations with confidence, consistency, and professionalism. Observe, monitor all areas. Recognize positive behaviors. One of the district's greatest staffing needs is in special education classrooms. When you hear the words special education, how do you feel? What comes to mind? If your answer is, oh, not much, you may feel hesitant or uncertain about accepting special education assignments.
That feeling is completely understandable and is common among new substitutes. The purpose of this section is to provide you with information about special education services, the students you may support, and what you can expect when accepting these assignments. Our goal is to help you feel more comfortable, confident, and prepared. Special education assignments offer a unique opportunity to make a meaningful difference in the lives of students. These classrooms are staffed by dedicated professionals and support teams who are there to assist both students and substitutes. Many substitutes who initially felt nervous about accepting a special education assignment later discover that these positions are among the most rewarding experiences they have had in education. They often enjoy building strong relationships with students, supporting students with diverse learning needs, celebrating student growth and success, working closely with instructional teams and paraprofessionals, and making a positive impact on students every day. As we continue through this section, you will gain a better understanding of special education programs, classroom environments, and your role as a substitute. You may find that what once seemed unfamiliar becomes one of your favorite types of assignments to accept. During the special education segment of New Substitute Orientation, you will gain a foundational understanding of special education and the important role substitutes play in supporting student success. By the end of this section, you will be able to understand the basics of special education and its purpose in supporting students with disabilities, identify the special education services and programs available in Fort Bend ISD, recognize the importance of providing inclusive, supportive learning environments for all students, learn best practices for working with students receiving special education services, understand how to support classroom routines, accommodations, and instructional activities, and build confidence in accepting and successfully completing special education assignments. Special education assignments are opportunities to make a meaningful impact on the lives of students. The knowledge and strategies presented in the section will help you feel more comfortable, prepared, and successful when serving in special education classrooms.
This graphic illustrates the different student populations served in Fort Bend ISD. Even when you are working in a general education classroom, it is likely that some students in the classroom may receive special education services or have a Section 504 plan. IDEA and special education. IDEA stands for the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act. The federal law requires public schools to provide a free, appropriate public education to eligible students ages 3 through 21 who have a disability and an identified educational need. Students receiving special education services may receive specialized instruction, accommodations, modifications, and related services tailored to their individual needs. What is a 504 plan? A Section 504 plan is designed to provide students with disabilities equal access to learning and school activities by removing barriers that may impact their educational experience. Students served under Section 504 may receive accommodations such as preferential seating, small group testing, extended time on assignments or assessments, modified workload expectations. For example, a student with ADHD may receive accommodations such as completing a reduced number of problems on an assignment or testing in a smaller, less distracting environment. The specific accommodations provided depend on the student's individual needs. Special education versus Section 504. While both Section 504 and special education provide support and accommodations to help students access the learning environment, there is an important difference. Section 504 provides accommodations and supports, while special education provides accommodations, supports, and specially designed instruction tailored to meet the student's unique educational needs. You may encounter students who receive special education services, have a Section 504 plan but do not receive special education services, receive instruction in a general education classroom, receive services in both general education and specialized settings, attend self-contained special education classrooms, and do not receive special education or Section 504 services. Because students are served across a continuum of educational settings, substitutes should be prepared to support diverse learning needs in any classroom assignment. The general education population includes students who do not receive special education services or Section 504 accommodations. Regardless of the setting, all students benefit from a classroom environment that is safe, respectful, inclusive, and focused on learning.
As a substitute, you may encounter students with a variety of disabilities and educational needs. Throughout special education documentation, substitute notes, student support plans, and conversations with campus staff, you may see a number of disability-related acronyms. It is important to become familiar with these acronyms and what they represent, particularly if you are working in a long-term assignment. Remember, students receiving special education services are not only found in self-contained special education classrooms. Many students with disabilities spend part or all of their day in general education classrooms alongside their peers. Because of this, it is important for all substitutes to have a basic understanding of the disability categories they may encounter. As you review the list of acronyms, keep in mind that every student is unique. Students with the same disability may have very different strengths and needs. A disability label does not define a student. Students should always be treated with dignity, respect, and high expectations. Your role is to support learning while maintaining a positive and inclusive classroom environment. The purpose of learning these acronyms is not to make you an expert in special education, but rather to increase your awareness and confidence when working with students receiving special education services. While serving as a substitute, you may encounter a variety of special education acronyms in lesson plans, student information, classroom documentation, or conversations with campus staff. Although there are many acronyms used in special education, three of the most common are IEP, BIP, and FLAP. An IEP is a legal document that outlines a student's individualized educational program. The IEP identifies the student's strengths and needs, educational goals, accommodations and supports, specialized instruction, and related services needed to support student success. The purpose of the IEP is to ensure the student receives the instruction, services, and support necessary to make meaningful education progress. Behavior Intervention Plan, which is a BIP, is a written plan designed to improve and support student behavior. The plan outlines specific behaviors of concern, positive intervention strategies, supports and accommodations, replacement behaviors to teach, staff responses, and expectations. A BIP is often developed after a functional behavior assessment, which is known as an FBA, has been completed. An FBA is a process used to identify the purpose or function of a student's behavior. The assessment helps determine why a behavior is occurring, what triggers the behavior, and what the student gains or avoids through the behavior. The information gathered from the FBA helps the educational team develop an effective behavior intervention plan. Present levels of academic achievement and functional performance, known as the FLAP, describes a student's current level of functioning and serves as the foundation for the entire IEP. The FLAP helps determine the type and amount of special education services a student may need by documenting strengths and areas requiring support. Areas addressed may include academic skills, communication skills, social skills, behavioral needs, daily living or self-help skills, mobility and physical needs, functional performance across school settings. The FLAP helps the educational team identify where support is needed and develop appropriate goals and services for the student. Special education provides a variety of supports and services designed to meet the unique needs of students with disabilities. These services are provided across a continuum of support, ensuring that students receive assistance in the setting that best meets their individual needs, while promoting access to the general education curriculum whenever appropriate. The types of supports are specialized supports. Some students receive instruction and services in specialized settings to provide intensive academic, behavioral, communication, or functional support. These services may occur in alternative locations within the school and are tailored to a student's individual needs. In-class supports, many students receive special education services while remaining in the general education classroom. Special education staff may provide support within the classroom through co-teaching, consultation, accommodations, modifications, or direct student assistance. Related and external supports. Some students may receive additional services from specialized professionals such as speech and language pathologists, occupational therapists, physical therapists, behavioral specialists, vision or hearing specialists. These services help students access and participate successfully in their educational program. Special education services are not limited to one type of classroom. Students may receive support in a variety of settings, including general education classrooms, small group instructional settings, resource classrooms, specialized self-contained classrooms, or other designated instructional environments within the school. As a substitute, you may work with students receiving special education services in any of these settings. What this means for you? Regardless of where services are delivered, your role remains the same. Create a welcoming and inclusive environment, follow the lesson plans and classroom routines provided, support accommodations and classroom expectations, work collaboratively with campus staff and support personnel, and treat all students with dignity, respect, high expectations. When working as a substitute in a general education classroom, you may have students who receive accommodations or supports due to a disability. Some students may be served through a Section 504 plan, while others may receive special education services and spend all or most of their day in the general education setting. Students may have a variety of disabilities, including but not limited to ADHD, dyslexia, hearing impairments, visual impairments, learning disabilities, or other health, physical, or educational needs. Many of these students spend their entire school day in the general education classroom and may never attend a separate special education classroom. Instead, they receive supports and services within their regular learning environment. This is where in-class supports come in. To help students be successful, you may see special education staff or paraprofessional aides enter the classroom throughout the day to provide support. These professionals may assist individual students or small groups, provide accommodations listed in a student's plan, support academic instruction, reinforce classroom expectations and routines, and help students remain engaged and successful in the learning environment. These paraprofessionals may be substitutes themselves. As the substitute teacher, you remain the classroom leader, while support staff work collaboratively with you to meet student needs. What you should do: welcome the support personnel into the classroom. Continue following the teacher's lesson plans and classroom procedures. Communicate and collaborate with aides and support staff as needed. Maintain classroom expectations for all students. And ask questions if you are unsure how a student is typically supported. Remember, support staff are valuable resources and partners in helping students succeed. If you accept an assignment for a special education teacher, you will be working in a special education classroom where students may require more intensive supports, specialized instruction, or additional assistance throughout the school day. The level of support provided will vary depending on the type of special education program and the unique needs of the students being served. Some classrooms support students with moderate learning needs, while others provide services for students with more significant academic, behavioral, communication, or functional needs. As a substitute in a special education classroom, you can expect to follow the teacher's lesson plans and classroom routines, provide instruction and supervision as directed, support students in meeting their academic and behavioral goals, maintain a safe, structured, and positive learning environment, and collaborate with classroom staff and support personnel. One of the greatest resources available to you in a special education classroom is the team of paraprofessional aides assigned to support students. When subbing in a special education classroom, you will typically have one or more aides working alongside you throughout the day. These staff members are familiar with student routines and schedules, classroom procedures, behavioral supports and interventions, student accommodations and needs, and daily instructional activities. While the paraprofessionals are valuable members of the classroom team, remember that as the substitute teacher, you are responsible for leading the classroom and implementing the teacher's plans, or you may be subbing for one of the paraprofessional aides. Best practices are to introduce yourself to the aides at the start of the day, ask questions about classroom routines and expectations, work collaboratively as a team, listen to their insights regarding student needs and procedures, maintain professionalism and consistency, and do not hesitate to seek clarification if you are unsure about a task or situation. The most successful special education classrooms are built on teamwork, communication, and collaboration. If you accept a special education paraprofessional assignment, your responsibilities may vary depending on the position and the needs of the students you support. In some assignments, you may work directly in a special education classroom, assisting the special education teacher with instruction, classroom activities, student supervision, and daily routines. In other assignments, you may provide in-class support by accompanying students to their general education classes. In this role, you may assist students with following classroom routines and expectations, staying engaged during instruction, completing assignments and activities, utilizing accommodations and supports, transitioning between classrooms and activities, and building independence and self-confidence. As a paraprofessional substitute, your primary role is to support student success while working under the guidance of the classroom teacher and following established student support plans. What to expect? Every assignment may look different. Some students require minimal support while others may need more intensive assistance. You may work with one student, a small group of students, or multiple students throughout the day. Collaboration and communication with the teachers and campus staff are essential. Whether you are supporting students in a special education classroom or in a general education setting, your contributions play an important role in helping students access learning opportunities and achieve success. Fort Bend ISD offers a variety of specialized special education programs designed to meet the unique needs of students. You may not encounter all of these programs on every campus, as some specialized services are available only at designated locations throughout the district. For additional information about special education services, you may visit the Fort Bend ISD Special Education website or refer to the Special Education section of the Substitute Handbook. Our first program listed is Academic Behavior and Communication, which we refer to as ABC. ABC serves students who exhibit a combination of significant cognitive, communication, and behavioral challenges. The program provides specialized instruction and supports designed to help students develop academic, behavioral, communication, and functional skills in a structured learning environment. Behavior Support Services, which is referred to as BSS, serves students who demonstrate significant behavioral challenges and require intensive social and behavioral support. The program provides interventions and strategies that helps students develop appropriate social, emotional, and behavioral skills necessary for success in school. Succeeding in Academic and Independent Living Skills, which is referred to as SAILS, serves students with significant cognitive disabilities and focuses on helping students develop functional life skills. Instruction may include personal care skills, communication skills, functional academics, social skills, independent living skills, and pre-vocational and vocational activities. The goal is to increase student independence and prepare students for future success. Functional Living and School Health Services, referred to as FLASH, provides a developmentally appropriate educational program for students with significant cognitive, communication, and/or multiple impairments. Instruction focuses on functional life skills, communication development, health and physical support needs, academic access, and social interaction skills. Early Childhood Special Education Services, referred to as ECSE, provides services for students ages 3 through 5 years old who have identified developmental delays or disabilities. The program focuses on early intervention and building foundational skills needed for future educational success. Communication, language, and social skills, referred to as CLASS, serves students who are generally successful in academic settings but require additional support in developing appropriate social, communication, and behavioral skills. This program helps students build social relationships, improve communication skills, develop self-regulation strategies, and increases successful participation in the school environment. Adult Transition Services, which is referred to as ATS 18+, serves students who have met high school graduation requirements but need additional support transitioning to adult life. This program focuses on employment readiness, independent living skills, community-based instruction, self-advocacy, and post-secondary transition planning. Resources, inclusion support, and co-teaching. The R stands for resource. Resource services provide special education instruction in a setting outside the general education classroom for a portion of the school day. Students receive specialized instruction targeted to their individual learning needs. IS is inclusion support, which allows students to receive services within the general education classroom. Special education personnel may provide direct support to students, indirect support through teacher collaboration, and accommodations on modifications based on the student's IEP. CT stands for co-teaching. This is a collaborative instructional model in which a general education teacher and a special education teacher work together to plan, deliver, and assess instruction for a classroom that includes students with disabilities. This model promotes access to grade-level instruction while providing specialized support within the general education setting. Confidentiality is an essential responsibility of every substitute employee, especially when working with students who receive special education services. Information regarding a student's disability, educational services, accommodations, behavior, academic performance, or personal information is confidential and must be protected at all times. You should never discuss student information with anyone who is not authorized to receive that information. This includes other students, parents of other students, friends or family members, community members, individuals outside of Fort Bend ISD, school staff who do not have a legitimate educational need to know. Student information should only be shared with authorized school personnel who are directly involved in supporting the student. Maintaining confidentiality is not only a professional responsibility, it is also a legal requirement. Protecting student privacy helps preserve trust, dignity, and respect for all students and families. If you have questions regarding special education assignments, programs, or services, please visit the Fort Bend ISD Special Education website. You can also find additional information in the Substitute Handbook and through campus administration or special education staff. I know that was a lot of information. Let's review the key takeaways. Don't let uncertainty prevent you from accepting a special education assignment. With knowledge, preparation, and a positive attitude, these assignments can become some of the most rewarding experiences in your substitute teaching journey. Every classroom is diverse. As a substitute, it is important to understand that students may receive support through special education services, Section 504 accommodations, or general education instruction. Your role is to provide a positive, supportive learning environment where all students can be successful. Know the acronyms, but focus on the students. Understanding common disability categories can help you better support students and feel more confident when accepting special education and general education assignments. IEP, BIP, FBA, and FLAP are among the most common special education acronyms you may encounter. While substitutes are not responsible for developing these documents, having basic understanding of their purpose can help you better support and feel more confident in special education and general education classrooms. Special education services can range from support provided in the general education classroom to more specialized instructional settings. Every service is designed to help students access learning, develop skills, and achieve success in school. Many students with disabilities receive services within the general education classroom. You may have special education staff or paraprofessional aides provide in-class support throughout the day. Working collaboratively with these professionals helps create a positive and successful learning environment for all students. You are never alone in a special education classroom. Paraprofessional aides are there to support students and help the classroom run smoothly. By working together and communicating effectively, you can create a positive and successful learning environment for all students. Special education paraprofessionals provide support wherever students learn. Depending on the assignment, you may assist students in a special education classroom, a general education classroom, or both throughout the school day. Special education services in Fort Bend ISD are provided along a continuum of supports designed to meet individual student needs. As a substitute, you may work in a variety of programs and settings, each offering unique opportunities to support student growth, independence, and success. Protect student privacy at all times. If you learn information about a student during your assignment, keep it confidential and only discuss it with authorized school personnel who have a legitimate educational need to know. As a substitute employee, you are expected to uphold the same professional standards as all Fort Bend ISD employees. Fort Bend ISD has established employee standards of conduct to ensure that all employees maintain professionalism, integrity, and ethical behavior while serving students, families, colleagues, and the community. Fort Bend ISD Board Policy DH states that each district employee shall perform their duties in accordance with state law, federal law, district policies. Employees are expected to conduct themselves professionally and make decisions that support the safety, well-being, and success of students. The Texas Educators Code of Ethics establishes professional expectations for all educators and educational staff. The Code of Ethics requires educators to comply with professional and ethical standards, treat students with dignity and respect, maintain professional relationships with students, interact appropriately with colleagues, school officials, parents, and community members, protect confidential information, safeguard academic freedom, and act with honesty, integrity, and fairness. As a substitute, you represent both Fort Bend ISD and the education profession. You are expected to follow district policies and procedures, maintain professionalism at all times, exercise sound judgment, model appropriate behavior, protect student confidentiality, and adhere to all safety and reporting requirements. The information presented throughout this orientation, along with Fort Bend ISD Board Policy DH and the Texas Educators Code of Ethics, provides the foundation for successful substitute service. By following district expectations, using sound professional judgment, maintaining ethical conduct, and adhering to district policies and procedures, you should never encounter situations that could result in progressive discipline. When in doubt, follow district policy, ask questions, seek guidance from campus administration, and maintain professionalism. Previous information provided will hopefully keep you from ever being faced with progressive discipline. What does progressive discipline mean? All at-will employees, including substitutes, are subject to progressive discipline. Progressive discipline is a process of coaching, counseling, and corrective action designed to help improve employee performance and behavior while maintaining a safe and professional environment. An example of a discipline investigation: if a parent reports that a substitute used inappropriate language while on campus, the campus administrator must investigate the concern. As a part of the investigation, the administrator may meet with the substitute to discuss the allegation, collect written statements from students or witnesses, and review any additional information related to the incident. Based on the findings and severity of the situation, disciplinary action may be taken. The following are examples of progressive discipline steps that may be used. Positive counseling, which may include a discussion with the administrator and/or guidance and coaching provided regarding expectations. Verbal warning is issued when a similar concern continues after counseling. Written warning is a formal documentation of continued concerns. Should the behavior continue, the next step would be final written warning, which typically serves as the final step before a recommendation for termination. Important to note, discipline steps do not have to occur in sequence. Depending on the severity of the incident, one or more steps may be skipped. The campus will submit all documentation related to the incident to the substitute office and/or employee relations department. Depending on the circumstances, the campus may request that the substitute be restricted from accepting future assignments at that campus. If such a request is being made, the campus administrator should discuss it with you during the conference. In some situations, human resources may conduct additional review and may request a meeting with a substitute. If an incident involving a student occurs while you are working as a substitute, you must report the information to campus administration as soon as possible. Prompt reporting helps ensure student safety, supports a thorough investigation, and protects all parties involved. In order to provide you with some quick tips for following the employee standards of conduct and help prevent situations that could lead to progressive discipline, here are a few important do's and don'ts for substituting in Fort Bend ISD. Please remember, these are only examples. We rely on you as adult professionals to use good judgment and conduct yourself appropriately while working with Fort Bend ISD students, staff, parents, and community members. I will go over the do's first. Do treat all students and staff with respect. Do maintain appropriate student-adult boundaries. Do maintain confidentiality of all information you hear. Do actively monitor students at all times. Do report concerns to campus staff as soon as possible. And do contact campus staff for assistance if needed. Now let's discuss the don'ts. Don't use profanity with students or staff. Don't use physical means to redirect student behavior. Don't engage with students through personal cell phones, text messages, or social media. Don't use your cell phone for personal business while supervising students. Don't leave students unattended in a classroom, common area, or hallway. And don't report to work under the influence of drugs or alcohol. Remember, your actions directly impact student safety, the learning environment, and the reputation of Fort Bend ISD. When in doubt, ask for assistance from campus administration or staff. We appreciate your professionalism and your commitment to creating a safe, respectful, and positive environment for all students. Together, we make a difference. Should you experience technology issues or have trouble logging into any district service, here are a few tips and resources to help you. For network password assistance, if you forget your network password or your password expires, visit my.fortbendisd.gov to reset your password. You should have set up your password reset security questions when you claimed your account. The Substitute Handbook. The Substitute Handbook contains several job aids and step-by-step guides for commonly used systems and processes. Refer to the handbook whenever you need assistance. ReadySub support. You will receive a welcome email from ReadySub in your district email account containing your login information. Important to note, FBISD customer service is not able to assist with ReadySub questions or issues. If you need assistance with ReadySub, please contact your assigned substitute team member based on your alpha split. The Technology Help Desk or Customer Service. Fort Bend ISD Customer Service can assist with many technology-related questions and system access issues. You can reach customer service by calling 281-634-1300. When calling, be prepared to provide your employee ID number and the last 4 digits of your Social Security number. Before requesting assistance, check the Substitute Handbook for available job aids and troubleshooting resources. Many common questions can be resolved quickly using the resources provided to you. Technology issues happen from time to time. Knowing where to go for assistance will help minimize delays. And again, please note that customer service cannot assist you with ReadySub questions.
Again, congratulations and welcome to Fort Bend ISD. This concludes new substitute orientation. As you begin your journey as a Fort Bend ISD substitute, remember your most valuable resource is the Substitute Handbook. The handbook contains important policies, procedures, expectations, job aids, and answers to many commonly asked questions. We encourage you to use the handbook as your first resource whenever questions arise. We are excited about the support you will provide to the staff and students of Fort Bend ISD. Your flexibility, dedication, professionalism, and commitment to student success are greatly appreciated. Every day you step into a classroom, you make a positive impact on the educational experience of our students. We look forward to working with you. Together, we make a difference.